these are the films that inspired me to, fall in love with movies. So I would definitely say Shaky Shivers has a bit of a homage to movies like American Werewolf in London from the 80s.
在80年代，恐怖片是好莱坞最受欢迎的电影类型之一。当时涌现出了一批经典的恐怖片，如13号星期五、月光光心慌慌、鬼屋大饭店等。这些电影不仅在票房上取得了巨大成功，也影响了一代人的观影观念。在这样的背景下， Shaky Shivers 的出现无疑是对恐怖片的一次回归。这部电影由 Sung Kang 执导。Sung Kang 是一位知名的韩裔美国演员，曾出演过《速度与激情》系列、《玩命关头6》等多部好莱坞大片。Shaky Shivers 讲述了一个小镇上突然出现了一只狼人，而镇上的居民们则要想尽办法对抗这只狼人的故事。Shaky Shivers 在保持恐怖氛围的同时，也加入了不少幽默元素，让影片更加轻松有趣。此外，影片还在演员阵容上进行了多元化的尝试，将来自不同文化背景的演员汇聚在一起，为影片增添了不少新鲜感。
Hey, good morning, Sung.
Hi, Charlene. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How's it like to sit at this directing seat for Shaky Shivers?
It's super exciting, and it's an honor to have these men and women support your vision, and to stand behind you. It really takes a village to get a movie done, and every time I think about it, and even doing interviews with you, I can't believe we're actually here.
No, same here. That's exactly how I felt, seriously. Well, do you have a fascination about the 80s movie with a werewolf? Is that something you really like?
Well, I'm a product of the 80s, that was, the height of my childhood. And that was the era where I guess I filled my Rolodex of films. It was the days that I would walk or take a bicycle to the video store and go rent the VHS tapes, and have to pay the late fees. And there were films like, American Werewolf in London, and, Nightmare on Elm Street and Evil Dead. And these are films that the video store clerk should have not have let a little boy rent, but, these are the films that inspired me to, fall in love with movies. So, I would definitely say Shaky Shivers has a bit of a homage to movies like American Werewolf in London from the 80s.
Ooh, so you definitely study a lot about werewolves.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's that transformation scene in American Werewolf in London, and we try to do an homage to that in Shaky Shivers when our actress, Brooke Markham, character of Lucy, transforms herself. I mean, that is a tip to the hat to Rick Baker's work from American. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that we definitely need to look forward to. Another thing is, as far as I know, there's really no werewolves, right? I hope. Then, of course, all these costumes has to be made. Did you get involved with all these custom making and everything? How did it come about?
Yeah, as a director, you're able to have, your fingers in every part of the process, and being able to work with, a visual effects artist like Gabe Bartalis, who brought the monsters to life, who built the Bigfoot and made the zombies and made the werewolf. We were able to have great conversations about, how we're trying to make our, film different, but still, homage to certain films that we love. So, and that's the exciting part is the behind the scenes process, to be able to be part of, be a part of every, step of the way of how a film comes together. A lot of times as an actor, you just come and do your part and then you go home. But, as a director, you can be the first one there and the last one to leave. So I really enjoyed that process. Yeah.
So how long did it take you from, as you said, as a director, you have to get involved from the very beginning, which means probably the script and then the characters and perhaps the costumes and even the post-editing. How long did the whole process take you?
I mean, getting a movie made is like winning the lottery, twice, because people think like, a movie is just a snap of a finger, but it's such a long journey, Charlene. I mean, the writers, my buddies, Andy McAllister, and my writing partner, Aaron Strongoni, had written this script, I think like 2.5 years prior to us even talking about me directing it, So, and then prior to that, they had done a documentary about Gabe Bartalis, the visual effects, artist that made all the monsters. So, I mean, the script was in development probably over 3 years, and then it took about another 1.5 years, close to 2 years to get the money, even though, we had limited resources, but just to get that. And then, things like, the pandemic happened, and, we shot this movie at the height of the pandemic. So, there were all these delays. And then even after you shoot the movie, there's, like 6 months of post-production, from editing to doing, all the color and sound. So, I mean, if you add it all up together, it's, 5+ years to get a movie made,
Yeah, with all these gray hairs coming out, huh? 5 years is quite a long time. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Definitely have to go to the theaters and support this movie because it took such a long time. But hey, Sung, so what's the major difference? Because being, as you said a little bit earlier, being an actor is definitely different than being a director. Right? What's the major difference if there's a choice in the future that you can pick either or? Would you want to do both or would you want to just pick one?
Well, I definitely love acting, Charlene. I mean, that's why I came to Hollywood, but, maybe I think you would understand this, I didn't come to Hollywood to be, like 5th, 6th, like supporting cast member, the rest of my career. And it's great to be a part of the Fast and Furious franchise, but I also did not come to Hollywood just to be, in some, car movie, right? There are stories that I really want to be a part of and tell. And, waiting around for somebody else to write those stories, I realized, that phone call is never going to ring. And, I do at this age, being older now, that I've had the fortune to work with some amazing filmmakers, right? So, it's two-part is that, instead of like waiting around and complaining that, opportunities are not happening, as a director and writer, I can make these opportunities happen for myself. And second, it's a great opportunity to also pass the wonderful knowledge that I've garnered over my career, to the younger, cast and crew members. So, it gives you purpose at the end of the day. It's not just about yourself, where as an actor, you mostly have to just worry about you. And, as I get older, I think because I don't have children, there's this need to nurture and, and take care. And, when you're my age now, you're usually like the oldest person on the set. So, that also checks off a box where I get to nurture and pass off like whatever limited knowledge that I have. So I definitely feel like, directing is, something I want to stick with, and it's more fulfilling to me, because I do love the aspect of being able to be the first one and last one, on set, and shepherding a whole, project till the very end. And, also leading like a group of men and women, and fulfilling their Hollywood dream too, in a positive way.
So are you sure you're not the actor who's under the werewolf costume?
Oh, no, I'm definitely not. That is Chris Markham.
That's a spoiler. People were going to go in just to watch that.
No,
no, not you.
Definitely not me. No.
Definitely not you. Okay. Another question. Is there anything that's super unexpected that had happened on the scene that you never experienced before and you have to solve the issue right on the spot because everyone's depending on you? You must be like a dad on the scene, right? Taking care of everyone and everything.
I mean, in hindsight, when you step back, it's such a fun adventure when you are able to kind of look at it from, 7 feet away. But when you're going through, making the movie, there are all these crazy obstacles and problems that, makes your hair gray. There was a crew member that would always be late, Charlene. Every single day, this guy was 30 minutes to an hour late. And he was really essential to the camera department. We needed him. We could not start the day without this guy. And he was really introverted. Everybody was, housed together in different departments. So the camera department was in one house. The costume department was in one house. And this guy just decided that he was going to live in his van, right? Throughout the whole shoot. And, we gave him money for a hotel and stuff, but he still was insistent on living in his van. And constantly, this guy was late. I mean, and when you're working on a small movie like this, time is money. An hour costs us a lot of money. That hour is so precious. And then we started hearing complaints about the toilets being clogged up in different cabins, right? So the, costume department, they would come home after work and the toilet would be completely clogged up and overflowing, right? And somebody did number 2 and put all this toilet paper and then basically clogged up the toilet and the first time you're second time you're whoa, and then third time you're now we got to figure out what is going on. And this dude, what he would do is he would park in front of these houses and then wait for the people to go to work in the morning, and then he would somehow find a way into the house. And he was a serial pooper. Yeah, so he was literally a serious serial pooper, and he would go and clog people's toilets. And that's why he was half an hour to an hour late. And we finally caught him, right? And then we're what are you doing, man? And he's well, I live in my van and I don't have a bathroom. And so, I need to use the bathroom. And we're what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, but you need to clog it up.
Yeah, so he caused a lot of backup, if you will.
Yes, lots of backups. That's a good one. That can probably be one of the inspiration of your next movie coming up. I wonder when is that going to come out? Well, thank you so very much, Sung. Very last request. Can we say Shaky Shivers 3 times, and then can we howl together? Is that too much for you?
Sure, let's do it. Ready?
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Shaky Shivers, Shaky Shivers, Shaky Shivers. Ow! Thank you so much. Bye.